What's up? You turn back into the video. We're gonna be talking about melanin once more. Okay? I'm gonna show you something else I came across. I'm gonna expose it. So let's listen to this brother speak.
What is melanin and why is it so powerful?
Melanin is a molecule. And Dr. Sabi used to always tell me, you're always talking about melanin, but what you have to really look at is carbon. Carbon is the atom. It's like cosmic glue. You have other atoms or elements, but you basically have four major on the earth. Oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen,
Okay.
carbon. You can put no more than...
Let me pause it right there. And right here, it says, what is blackness? The blacker a person is, the more rich such person is with the divine jewel and precious treasure of melanin. Black is more than a color. Black is melanin. Melanin is carbon, and carbon is energy. The law of physics teach that, quote, energy was never created, nor can energy be destroyed. Energy is the ether of God, or the creator, or the source from which everything gets existed in motion. Energy in its manifested form is melanin, which materializes as blackness. See that? So, let's keep on going.
Four together, nitrogen, hydrogen, oxygen. You can put part of hydrogen, 2 parts of oxygen together, you have water. You can put 2 parts hydrogen, 2 parts oxygen together, and you have hydrogen peroxide. You can do the same thing with nitrogen, but you can't put no more than 4 atoms together to create anything. Once you introduce carbon, the black, once you introduce carbon, you create the millions and billions of molecules that exist. Carbon is the cosmic glue. It is the evidence of everything and all that exists. Because when you go outside, you look up into the heavens, what do you see? You see blackness. That's cosmic melanin. But the way in which it represents itself on the planet comes from the greenness in plants, and basically the melanin that is in human beings and animals too. And so melanin is a molecule that becomes very important as it relates to life. That is why you have the carbon-14, nitrogen-14 dating, because you can tell how old something is by the life of the carbon that's within that particular thing that you're looking at, the organism that you're looking at. So that carbon is the actual stuff of the cosmic universe. And if there is life outside, it's going to be black. So don't be bringing no Europeans down here as extraterrestrials, because they don't exist. Europeans down here as extraterrestrials, because they don't exist. When the spacemen come from outer space, they're going to be black, or brown, or melanated, because that's the stuff of the universe. Or brown. Spacemen come from outer space, they're going to be black, or brown, or melanated, because that's the stuff of the universe. Stars.
Okay. I'm going to post this guy's interview in my description box. Everything he's saying is the same thing I've been saying in my videos. Okay? This is what all this stuff is about. Carbon. Alright, now let's go to another guy's video. Listen to this one.
Today's lecture is going to be about the number 666 as it occurs in the Bible. It's the number of the beast, which I'm going to show you that it means melanin is the beast, and man, which means male and female. Alright, so I'm going to start off by reading from Revelations chapter 3, verse 18. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of man, and his number is 666. What you may not know is 666 only occurs in the Bible 3 times. If you go to Ezra, chapter 2, verse 13. It's referring to a man and how many children he had. He had 666 children. 1 Kings, chapter 10, verse 14, refers to the talents of gold Solomon amassed every year. When I do a video about Santa Claus later on, we're going to talk about gifts and talents and what that means, and gold, what that has to do with chakras. So later on in another video, I'm going to talk about talents and Santa Claus. I had a whole Santa Claus stories about the pineal gland and melanin. The only so-called negative reference was the above in Revelations, when it referred to the number 666 as being some type of beast. Alright, so here's the understanding. First, let's deal with man. So man means human, which is like the word Adam means male and female. So all humans are referred to as carbon-based life forms. In fact, without carbon, biological molecules would not be able to bond, and the body would be a formless heap of loose atoms. Carbon comes from the Latin word carbo, meaning coal or charcoal. It is present in all known physical life forms. Carbon-12 accounts for 98.89% of all carbon. Why do I bring up carbon-12? Because the number 12 is its mass number. And that means it has 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons. So now you have the number of man. Now let's discuss the beast. Now, the beast is melanin. Melanin comes from the Greek word melos, meaning black. Now they're going to make everything black negative. So you watch any movies, the movie about blah, this was really about melanin. Melanin is very chaotic, so that's why I have the chaos symbol. That symbolizes melanin. They're not going to tell you that. But whenever they do anything about chaos, they're really talking about melanin. Or anything in these movies about something black, that they're talking about melanin. Black people have more melanin within them than other races. White people, Caucasians, really have little to no melanin, and their pineal gland is pretty much calcified. So the pineal gland is what secretes melanin. Let me see what I'm talking about. Melanin is the chemical key to life, and it's the nucleus or brain of all cells. It is produced by the pineal gland or third eye, and is activated by sunlight. So, you know, they tell you Caucasians don't want to go out in the sun because of skin cancer. That has nothing to do with you. I just want to show you the book if you really want to read up more on melanin.
I did a lesson on that book. I have that book. Go back and watch my video. I just scroll through them about melanin. Melanin is a beer for black people. Watch that video. I present that book in my video.
And the difference between the different races. You can go to a book by Layla Africa called Melanin, What Makes Black People Black. Okay, so now, melanin is an organic, I'm stressing the word organic, dark, chemical, liquid pigment substance. Organic means containing all compounds of carbon. Carbon, once again, 666, so now you know.
So in the Bible, when it's talking about 666, that's talking about us, black folks. But they got you thinking that 666. So this is how they got you. This what they did. Now remember, I said in my book, in the book, The Making of the White Man. When you go here to, let me see. When you go here to page. Go here to page right here, page 61. It tells you that the book of Revelation. Okay, let me read it for you. Cause this Enoch, keep this Enoch in mind. The Enoch and Lamech and things like that. We're gonna go into that again because I'm gonna show you a book that just came out with this year. Okay, so it says that the book of Enoch was accepted as part of the Bible. It was accepted as such by Jesus, Peter, Paul, and by all of Jesus' other followers. But later, the church took the book of Enoch out of the Bible. An article discussing the history of the book of Enoch appeared in the December 7, 1935 edition of Liberty magazine, showing how other parts of the Bible had been changed or altogether removed from scriptures by cunning European leaders. The article reads in part, for more than a century, scholars and church officials debated as to whether or not certain gospels, epistles, and apocalypses should be included. For instance, it was long debated which to include in the canon, the book of Revelation or the book of Enoch, which had been accepted by scripture, which had been accepted as scripture by Jesus and Paul and whole other Christian churches for several centuries. Revelation finally won out and became the last book of the Bible. Now, the book of Enoch, they finally found that book, you know what I'm saying, whatever, and brung it back out, things like that, okay? So, with the book of Revelation, they changed the shit around, and they got you thinking that this Antichrist, when he comes on the scene, he's going to be this false Messiah, but they got you thinking this false Messiah, they're going to say these are aliens. Okay? But if you think, or if you believe that somebody's coming back to save you, if you think that our ancestors come back to save us, that's who's coming back. That's what your Antichrist is. Okay? You're going to be fighting against yourself. Okay? Now, what I want to do is, let's go here. Let's keep on listening.
Melanin is the beast. Man is made up of carbon, and so is melanin. And we also contain melanin. Melanin is responsible for our skin color, the color of our eyes. So we were born into skin, not sin. Remember, these stories in the Bible are allegories, not to be taken literally. We weren't born into skin. We weren't born into sin. We all started off as light beings, or just souls that came down. Earth is actually hell, so we fell into skin, not sin. And that skin is made out of carbon, which is 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons. So what makes this melanin a beast? It's a beast because melanin absorbs all colors. It's like a cellular black hole. Like once.
Okay, so now let's pause that, and we're gonna go here to. This is the book that just came out. It's called The Book of Lamech of Cain and Leviathan, right? And they published this book back in May of this year, right? And it says here that you can read this on your own. It said there are 2 different books of Lamech available to Bible scholars. One follows the line of Seth to the father of Noah, and one does not. Okay, so they're saying here that now if you read this, they say here that the Book of Lamech of Cain has been historically hard to find until recently, presented in novella form. Father Ichabod Sargent and its translator team have been cleared by the Vatican to publish this document, antediluvian document, written before the flood of Noah. The Book of Lamech of Cain follows the antediluvian bloodline of Cain and presents answers to questions that have puzzled biblical scholars, such as the mark of Cain. Okay, now, in here, click on this, and it says here that Cain, the forefather of Lamech, who was blank marked with leprosy, whiteness. So we know that God is not waving some magical wand out of the sky and marking people with leprosy. No, that's not what's going on here. So like here, even in here, it says this white man took injection melanin. Right? They even selling melanin. $350 per gram. This is carbon. Now, they're talking about Lamech and Cain and things of that nature, right? So let's decode this. Who is this? Who is Cain? The white man. These are white people. And it says that Abel's supposed to be black, so Cain is killing black people. Okay? And we're gonna prove this. Now, when we go here. So we know that here, in this book right here, The Making of the White Man, right? Adam represents a group of people. And we know that the Elohim are people. Okay? I've read about this before. So Adam is a group of people. It says that Genesis 1:27 and 5 and Genesis 1:27 and Genesis 5 and 2, male and female, he created them and called them name Adam. Here the Bible says that Adam is a group of men and women. If Adam were a single individual, then the Bible would not refer to him as them. It says certainly a group is being spoken of, but which group of men and women is Adam presumed to represent? Also, who made Adam? And what does the name Adam really mean? Now, remember, keep this word leprous whiteness. Now, in this book, Diodorus talks about leprosy. Right here, on page 46, recorded in the writings of Diodorus. Okay? They're talking about these foreigners, these ruddy-skinned strangers, right? And it says that in book 34, Diodorus identifies these strangers as a race of lepers and people having white marks on their skin. You see that? What Diodorus here calls white or leprous marks on their bodies is shown in his other writings as well as by writings of Manetho, the Egyptian priest, to have been in reference to people having white or pale complexions. Many of the writings of the ancient Egyptians, Greeks, Hebrews, and others refer to white or pale complexion skin as a form of leprosy, a disease characterized by skin ulcers and pigmentary deficiency. This is what this is talking about. Talked about this before. Go back and watch my videos. That's a problem. You niggas don't want to read. So here, right? Let's take this book, right? And here is all the continents connected together, right? It says here, above photo is a prehistoric, this is before white people, prehistoric drawing when the earth was one landmass. The Bible says the earth had one language, Genesis 11:1, and the earth divided, 1 Chronicles 1:19. So all this is connected, right? So 6,000 years, this is when white people was started popping up on all these continents. Before then, were no white people in existence, none. So we need to figure out when these white people start popping up on all these land masses. So in the book here, Make of the White Man, right? Between 6,000 and 7,000 years ago, signs of disruption began to appear throughout the ancient civilization areas. I read this before, okay? So it's saying here that 6,000 years ago, white people started popping up. Prior to that, there were no white folks in existence, nowhere. So, like right here, it's like when they talk about the pyramids and all that stuff being built, white folks didn't build it. They was not in existence. In Africa, along the banks of the Nile River, Egypt blossomed into the Pyramid Age. In Mesopotamia, between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, the Sumerians too established a civilization renowned for its high level of culture and refinement. Even as far west as India, and along the tributaries of the Indus River, the Dravidians constructed the magnificent twin cities of Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa. Rich in art, sciences, and the necessities of life, these civilizations laid the foundations for trade and finance, architecture, geometry, mathematics, and astronomy, philosophy, law, and government, writing, and religion. So these are black people doing this stuff. And then here comes 6,000 years later, you got 78,000 years, black people, and then fast forward in time, up to 6,000 to 4,000 years ago, this some white people start popping up. So like right here, it says in India, Mohenjo-Daro was sacked and its people were enslaved or killed. The outcome was the same for those of Mesopotamia and Egypt too. The extent to which the nomadic tribes overran and subjugated civilizations echoed in the writings of Emmanuel Velikovsky, who described what the whites did in Egypt by saying a cruel conqueror invaded the once mighty realm, Now overthrown and prostrate, he subjugated it without meeting resistance. He desecrated its sacred places. He raped its surviving women, enslaved the decimated population. He utterly destroyed the temples. If any remained erect, he robbed the sculptures of the dead and mutilated the victims who remained alive. It's even in the admonitions of the Epiver, and this is for Egyptians. This is in the Egyptian writings. They're telling you what's going on. Okay, I read about this before. They say in the admonition of the Epiver, barbarians from outside have come to Egypt. The children of nobles are dashed against the walls. The storehouse is stripped bare. Its keeper is stretched out on the ground. Behold, now something has been done. Something has been done which has never happened. Okay? All right? So 6,000 years ago, this is where your racism comes into play. Right? It's your caste system comes into play. Okay? For all practical purposes, the arrival of the white man signaled the end of civilization as it once existed. Along with the invasion came a new style of life. In India, the Aryans set up a social order based on skin color, called the caste system. According to that system, the whites were the rulers, and the dark-skinned Dravidians turned into slaves and outcasts. In Egypt and Mesopotamia, the priests were turned into slaves, and the other dark-skinned persons were relegated to menial positions or were pushed back away from the areas of trade and commerce. The new way of life was drastically different from anything that had existed before. It was the beginning of the white man's power. It was the beginning of the white man's rise to power. Now let's go back here to right here. So in this book, Lamech, the book of Lamech, with Cain and things like that, right? Before the flood and all that type of shit or whatever, right? Let's read this. So it says here that real history symbolically told. As in the story of Adam and Eve, a decision was made to remove the child Adam from the region. In the words of the Shanama, the white-skinned boy was then stripped bare and removed from the land and abandoned in some remote place, far from association with man. Okay? So, if you go here to this map, you have black people having albinos, then albinos are having white people. This is happening on all continents, and they're all experiencing the same damn thing, just in different languages. So, it says here that, thus the child was seized and taken to Mount Alberus in the heart of the Caucasus Mountains. This is up here. So you got Africa, this is going to all continents. This is Eurasia, Europe, right? And it says that there the boy was abandoned, isolated and alone. He grew up naked without shelter. Another tradition recorded in the book of Enoch, okay, like here in this book, the book of Lamech, this book of Lamech, who lived in the city of Enoch, who was the son of Methuselah, son of Mahaliah, son of Eri, son of Enoch, son of Cain, son of Adam. So it said, another tradition recorded in the book of Enoch also fits this similar pattern and states that Lamech's wife gave birth to a white-skinned son. That's Noah. Lamech's white-skinned son likewise ended up in the Caucasus Mountains, on Mount Ararat. According to the version found in the book of Enoch, Lamech, the boy's father, described the child as changed, unlike, and of a different nature than those who had lived before him. As in the other accounts, the newly arrived child's skin is said to have been white as snow, and his hair was blonde. So that means he's coming out looking like this. Okay? He's coming out looking like this. And it says here that the book of Enoch talks about what happened when Lamech learned that his wife had given birth to the uncommonly colored child. In this regard, chapter 105 of Enoch states, she became pregnant by him, and brought forth a child, the flesh of which was white as snow, and red as a rose. Talking about this. The hair of whose head was white and long. Lamech his father was afraid of him, and flying away to his own father Methuselah, said, I have begotten a son, a changed son. He is not human, but he is of a different nature from ours. So who are the human beings? Black people. White people, albinos, are half-breeds. That's what your blade was about. He's a different nature, but from ours, being altogether unlike us. Here, the circumstances surrounding the birth of the white-skinned child symbolically represents the arrival of a new white-skinned race of people into the region of the Near East. Lamech's father, Methuselah, right here, these names. Lamech's father, Methuselah, not knowing what to make of the unusual-looking boy, talking about this, unusual-looking boy, went seeking the advice of his own father Enoch. Thus Methuselah went to Enoch and said, a child has been born whose nature is not like the nature of man. His color is whiter than snow. His color is whiter than the snow. He is redder than the rose. The hair of his head is whiter than white. This is what this is talking about. It's whiter than white. And I beheld, he says, and behold, I am come to thee, that thou mightest point me out the truth. Methuselah's last statement suggests that there to be a hidden meaning or symbolic purpose associated with the birth of the child. That the child's birth is only an allegory signaling the beginning of some important historical event. You see that? We drop down here, it says that in the Bible, a similar change occurs following the arrival of Adam and his subsequent expulsion from the garden. The Holy Quran also says that just before the making of Adam, the angels warned that Adam's arrival will only create mischief and the causing of shedding of blood. When you read this, in this book, the book of Lamech of Cain and Leviathan, it's talking about Cain was marked with leprosy, right? As Abel's blood cried from the ground, leprosy was made that the sign was called upon Cain, whatever, blah, 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 blah. You know the stories or whatever, right? It's saying he's causing bloodshed. He's killing people. Okay? Read it on your own. So this is a book they came out with, talking about the Vatican cleared them. It was cleared by the Vatican to release this book, this information out. Okay? So, that's what this is talking about. Your Adam and Eve are white people. Your Adam and Eve are white people. And scholars are all saying the same thing. Like here, Thomas Scotto said that the story of Adam and Eve simply told the making of one group of people by another. So the Elohim, in your Bible, Elohim is plural, right? It's a group of beings. What beings? Black people. Black people. G.D. Perrucker, chairman of the Theosophical Society, lectured on the significance of the word Elohim in a book called Fundamentals of the Esoteric Philosophy, concerning the actual meaning of the word and how it refers to a plurality of beings. Perrucker pointed out, quote, the first part of El alone is meaning God, divinity, from which comes the second, feminine, Elohim, goddess. So if we translate every element in this single word, it will mean God and goddesses, plural. That the gods and goddesses whom the Bible credits with having making Adam were only a group of men and women can be plainly demonstrated by examining the way in which Elohim is used in other places throughout the Bible. Lastly, Arthur Layson, professor of Semitic theology, wrote an article in which he plainly showed that the word Elohim derives from a root indicating strength or might. And with this connotation, he wrote, quote, it is applied in the Old Testament to men. Based on all these facts, it is evident that the Elohim were only a group of men, that the Elohim were only a group of people. Adam means white men. They're breaking it down for you. dealing with pigmentation, carbon. Okay? Adam means white man, means red. He's pale. He doesn't have any color. He doesn't have any. He lacks melanin. He lacks carbon. Okay? What is the real meaning of the name Adam? Many believe that Adam just means man or mankind. But the usual words for man in the Semitic languages generally are not cognate with the name Adam. Instead, the facts show that the name Adam springs from the Hebrew root DM, meaning reddish in color, concerning which James Hastings, writing in the Encyclopedia of Religion and Ethics, adds a name having originated in a ruddy race. By the word ruddy is meant with the dictionary sense of it, pink color or reddish. This is what the name Adam actually means, saying that Adam comes from a ruddy race, as the American College Dictionary points out. The same as saying he was pink or pinkish red in color. The words blush or rosy red are also synonymous with ruddy. Even in the Bantu creation account, they talk about the white man. They call him red. Okay? So, that should be enough for you to see, hear what this is all talking about. So, I'm not going upon, when I see these people, you want to call them Africans, these are labels. Those are labels. It goes deeper. It goes deeper beyond that. It goes deeper beyond this. We have something inside of us that white folks don't have. They lack it. Because they came out a default. The blackest Africans of Sudan are the oldest race, and in prehistoric days, they had the greatest knowledge, highest morals, and most sophisticated societies. Once again, black is more than a color. Black is melanin. Melanin is carbon, and carbon is energy. The law of physics teaches that energy was never created, nor can energy be destroyed. Energy is the ether of God, or the Most High, or the Creator of all, from which everything gets its existence and motion. Now we go back here to the sacred N-word. Once again, go to the second N-word. This is what this is talking about. Second N-word, NGR, from or belong to the source, or God. So NGR means from or belongs to the source, the original first people. Okay? This is what this is, man. That's facts. So with that being said, I'm not gonna keep this video drawn out. Take the time to watch the video, take notes. Okay? You black people, black men and women, you are energy. You are carbon. You are carbonated beings. You are self-created. You created yourself. When these other races come from us, they lack the source, because they don't come. They lack source. They lack the melanin. They lack carbon. That's why they got to put on sunscreen, because they're going against nature. Like here, Michael Jackson did it. Bleach Your Skin, NDRE did it. Bleach Your Skin, Beyonce did it. There's many more. Sammy Sosa, he did it. Today, while blacks are bleaching their skin of the divine precious jewel of melanin, white people are injecting themselves with the melanin to cure skin cancer. See that? So, I'm going to cut my video off right here. So like here, the planet was a world of all black people from the beginning of 66 trillion years BC to 4000 BC. The black Somali Africans, or black people, occupied all parts of Europe in 15,000 BC. The first white man was made 4,000 years ago from black albinos. Here's your black albino. These people are albinos. They are mutants. Where's that page at? Trying to find the page. Give me 1 second. These are albinos. Black albinos and their African parents with black and blue eyes. These are albinos. Okay? So, when you look at this map, when you look at this again, it says the black Gamaldi Africans occupied all parts of Europe in 15,000 BC. The first white man was made 4,000 years ago from black albinos. Right here, from these people. Okay? You need the visuals? Need visuals? Here you go. Here's your visuals right here. First Chinese people were black. India means black, and India was first originated by black Ethiopians, or black people. North and South America was ruled by Olmec Egyptians, black people. Egyptians, Moors, Muslims, those are all titles. All titles. Blacks were in America when Africa and America was one land and divided 40,000 BC. Okay? So your flood with the continent of Pan sinking or whatever, all this stuff is connected. All this land is connected. Black space traveler mask of 10,000 BC found in Canada in 1879, Canada Museum. This is a black space mask. Just so we know that black people were traveling in outer space. You heard what the dude said in the video.
Because they don't exist, is going to be black that you're looking at. So that carbon is the actual stuff of the cosmic universe. And if there is life outside, it's going to be black. So don't be bringing no Europeans down here as extraterrestrials, because they don't exist. When the spacemen come from outer space, they're going to be black, or brown, or melanated, because that's the stuff of the universe.
So when you hear stuff like this, do you hear about the Nordics, the blue avians? That's all bullshit. That's bullshit. When you see stuff like this, when you see this dude right here, Corey Good, and he talk about these reptiles and grays and blue avians and all this shit, whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's bullshit, man. This dude right here talking about these blue avians, all this bullshit. Blue avians, you know what I'm saying? All these white people. You know, come on, man. Come on, the gig is up, dude. These are black folks, man. They coming up with shit like this, man. Come on, dog. Knock that shit. That shit finna come to a crash. It's finna come to a halt. Seeing shit like this. Get the fuck out of here with this garbage, man. It's trash. Some goddamn blue avians. Bullshit. This is bullshit, man. This is white supremacy, racism. Okay? This is trash. Play it again.
Cosmic universe. And if there is life outside, it's going to be black. So don't be bringing no Europeans down here as extraterrestrials, because they don't exist. When the spacemen come from outer space, they're going to be black, or brown, or melanated, because that's the stuff of the universe.
Now, so if we know that black people are coming from outer space and they're on all these other planets, well, where are all these white people coming from? Come on, some white Nordic beings and Palladians. That's bullshit. You all can vote for that. I'm not going for it. not going for it. This is too much evidence. It's too much evidence. I mean, just look at the Pope. He kissing the Black Mary's feet and Jesus' feet. They bowing down to these niggas, worshiping them. And all over Europe, man. Come on, man. Jesus, black man, Negro, is a nigger. God, what we call God, or the source of creation, that we're at, is black. It's carbon, coal. That's facts. Okay? This is too much. It's too much proof and evidence, man. Too much proof. Facts that you cannot deny. All right. Showed you that they're selling melanin at $353 per gram, $400 a pop. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to come to my channel free of charge, I'll break this shit down for you free of charge so you can understand it. Got on the walls in Egypt, the hieroglyphics, building spaceships, man. Come on, man. It's even in the Quran. The Quran says he's the Lord of the worlds. The worlds, meaning other planets, other realms, worlds, whatever you want to call it. Black folks on those other realms. Ain't no white people out there. Ain't no white people out there. Ain't no white people out there. So when we see these images, we are trained to hate these people. Don't know shit about them. We see like Amun Ra, King Tut, you know what I'm saying? These are black people, man. Coal, carbonated beings. Okay, they had light bulbs back in the day. These niggas weren't dumb. Quran says, your earth, it says on earth will be your dwelling place of livelihood for a time, meaning you're going to be building spaceships and shit, and you're going to travel outside this atmosphere. But they came here. Before the earth was made, they came here and brought life here. Well, we brought life here. So all these Indians, you know what I'm saying, the Aboriginal Indians, Moors, Greeks, Muslims, Europeans, all black folks, man. But then, 6,000 years ago, if you read the book, The Making of the White Man, all cultures say the same thing. That the only way white people came into existence is because black folks got together, had sex, and produced an albino, and the albino produced white folks. There's only 3 races on the face. There's only 2 colors on the face of the earth that I've seen. I never seen no blue person walking around here, or no green person. I've only seen black and white. And that's facts. That's facts. Like here. A similar tradition from India explains that the first Caucasians were made when a group of dark-skinned people gave birth to light-complexioned babies, who in turn gave birth to a nation of albinos from whom other whites were born. Okay? All this stuff is documented. So we said God dug in the dirt and formed man and molded him. That's symbolic. That's symbolism. Talk about sex. Okay? Dr. John Davy mentions this tradition and considers the possibility of the white race having originated in this manner in his book, Account of the Island of Ceylon, as to the likelihood that whites first came into existence through a means similar to this. Dr. Davy admitted, it is easy to conceive that an accidental variety of the kind might propagate, and that the white race of mankind is sprung from such an accidental variety. The East Indians are of this opinion, and there is a tradition or a story among them in which this origin is assigned to us. See that? El Boke. It says here that this much at least was admitted by El Boke, who in an article entitled Origin of Racial Characteristics of Man wrote, quote, white skin started from an ancestor with a black skin, and whose offspring, hair, and iris color were suppressed more and more. You see that? So white people talking about the common ancestor. Your common ancestor is black people. White skinned people, Europeans, started from an ancestor with black skin. It's even in the goddamn Bible in Genesis 30 and 35, your code, talking about doing this grafting with sheep and goats. Okay? Dr. David considered the early East Indian tradition that described the birth of white people from dark-skinned parents. Genesis 35 and 5, 30 and 35 talk about the sheep and goat through skillful breeding technique. That the Bible story of Jacob's grafted flock is related to the birth of white people from black parents is attested by the ancient book of Jewish traditions called the Midrash Rabbah. There a discussion is recorded between the black king of Arabia and the Jewish scholar Akiba. In that discussion, the black king said that stated, I am a black and my wife is a black, yet she gave birth to a white son. To which Akiba's response was, if you are surprised at such a possibility, study the case of our father Jacob's flock, which were influenced in their conception by the rise. In Akiba's response, he drew a connection between the birth of a white-skinned child to black parents with the case of Jacob's grafting or unusually colored flock. That it took Jacob 6 years to graft his flock parallels with Muhammad's story of code. So the idea that whites originated from black people is by no means a new idea. You see that? So this is nothing new. That's why the Bible said there's nothing new under the sun. So if you are following somebody and they're not breaking this down to you step by step, you need to get away from them because they're taking your money. They're taking your money, and that's facts. So Thomas Scotto said, okay, this guy right here, Isaac de la Pereira, in 1655, he said that the first man to sin was Adam, the white man. Okay? The first man, only in the sense that he was the first man a sinner, Adam, the white man. Okay? And they started burning his books. Right? So what was Adam and Eve drove to? To the Caucasus Mountains. They were driven to the Caucasus Mountains. Read the book of Adam and Eve, they tell you. So when you go here to this map one more time, so you need visuals to put this stuff in proper perspective. While you're reading, you can visualize it in your mind and take place what's going on here. So if you look at this map, once again, all is connected. So you got black people on all these continents, you know what I'm saying, 78 trillion years ago, whatever, right? 78 trillion years ago, the earth was seeded and things like that, whatever, right? There's black people on all these continents. Then 6,000 years ago, it comes the white man popping up, okay? And before the white man pop up, pyramids, all that shit was already built. Black people already built that. So all this is connected. Europe up here, Africa, Antarctica down here, India, Australia, South America, North America. All this stuff is connected. Okay? It says here that the above photo is an ancient Egyptian map of a land bridge connecting West Africa to Brazil that fell in the ocean about 15,000 years ago. It is the island of Atlantis. Africans came to North America before any other race by this land bridge. This is why Brazil has the most blacks outside of Africa. So they can walk. It's walking distance. They can walk from one land to the next. Okay? Now, in here, making the white man, they saying that something took place 6,000 years ago. And how did the continents break up? You have some theories say it's an earthquake and things like that. They say here that a natural disaster occurred. Right here it says, what caused the breakup of civilization 6,000 years ago? Many experts have tried to address this issue, but so far no clear explanation has been found. Some historians have speculated that a natural disaster, such as an earthquake, or some similar event took place. Talking about how did all this stuff break up? They say an earthquake happened or some type of natural disaster took place. But from the evidence in this book, it's saying that people started killing each other. Why? Because the white man came on the scene. It says, but they were unable to find any evidence to support their claims. Besides, all of the clues pointed in the direction of an event quite different from that of an earthquake, a condition that grew over an extended period of time. The picture is one of communities in turmoil, of societies collapsing and falling apart from within, of chaos, dissatisfaction, and unrest. The most accurate summation would be to say that the people just began fighting and killing one another. This is the best way to describe what was happening in the Near East 6,000 years ago. Okay? So, I'm running out of time. Click subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.